The concept of the show is also that one bicycle a day will be put outside in Dornbirn during the whole duration of the exhibition time.
Yeah.
And how did that refer to previous works you have done, like in Paris 2008 and...
Yeah, well, it's basically the same principle as the show, or part of an exhibition I did in Paris, where I basically had 100 bicycles in the gallery, and each day one was left outside to be stolen or taken away. That's the kind of line that it's quite difficult to imagine what will happen here, in a smaller town. But I think once we start to believe in the idea and encourage people to get involved in the idea, then maybe people will feel comfortable about stealing the bikes. Well, over the last 3 days, I guess, it has been that. I mean, we literally pieced all of these together over the last 2 days. Even I was doing it, which was good, actually. I mean, it was very straightforward to piece them together. Engineering-wise, they're quite basic, but they're good. I'm not sure how safe they are, all of them, but yeah, it really became this idea of piecing the things together that will slowly be dispersed through the town or wherever they end up. I mean, as a group of 100 Indian bicycles, they'll still sort of remain, the work will still exist, but it'll just be in a different place to here. I still think it's possible to imagine this group still being together, but just dotted around in maybe the world, as it says on here, around the world. Hi, bird. Once they leave here, they become someone else's problem. So I was just also interested in this kind of classic bike. I think if I was to draw a bike, if I could draw, I can actually draw. I would probably draw a bike like this. It's kind of what a bike looks like. When you think of a bike, this is kind of what a bike looks like. And it's probably, I guess, a British design, probably from the 1920s, that was manufactured in India and is still being made probably by the same people. So it seemed to make sense to use these bikes, and then, I don't know, it just went from there. So each day I guess there'll be a queue of people outside waiting for their bike. Yeah, I mean, they'll just go at random, whether they'll be left outside here or somewhere in the town. But we'll just see how it functions. I think it's interesting also because the whole project is open to possibilities. It's not clear what's going to happen, whether it even works, whether people feel like they want to take it, or whether they feel it's not the right thing to do, or it's not. Yeah, it works differently in each place. I guess if I was to do it in Berlin or in Amsterdam, where bikes are kind of often currency, then they would be stolen very quickly or taken very quickly. But here it might be different. I have done that a few times where in one specific series of paintings in the end, I sent a postcard of a Mark Rothko painting to a different artist. One would be Lawrence Wiener did one for us. And he would just look at the postcard and write what he saw, a kind of grey rectangle with a stripe of orange and a yellow square, and just roughly explain it. And then we would give his instructions to a painter who would then follow his instructions and try and recreate, I guess, a Rothko without knowing it was a Rothko. So you would get something similar, like a bad Rothko, basically, which was quite. I mean, John Baldessari also helped, and they were quite funny. I mean, he explained the Rothkos in a much more John Baldessari way, like it was a big sandwich, and it was one layer of pastrami and one layer of ketchup and one layer of lettuce, and that's how the painter dealt with the work in the same way. So in the end, it doesn't really look like something that I would do, but it's just that process of kind of pushing the idea through other people's heads and seeing what happens at the end. Which hasn't really got a lot to do with bikes, but it doesn't really matter. But I just thought it made sense in the end that because of the idea of having the Rolls Royce and the fact that this was a turbine hall, and you told me, I mean, all of these things it was dealt with, I guess, from Stefan talking to me about the space and the place. And I didn't actually come here, I sort of worked it all out from a little cardboard model, which is really good, but I'm not very good at judging how big things are, or even piecing the model together. So it made sense that we would have something, because I knew it was a really high ceiling, that we'd have something that maybe spoke a bit about the logic or the history of this space in a way. And that at the end we will have this kind of less oil, more courage. We'll have 100 people cycling around and one Rolls Royce left in the space. Because Dornbirn has the Rolls Royce, biggest Rolls Royce museum in the world, apparently. And it just kind of pieced itself together in the end. Had you told me there was something else here, we might have brought that in.
That's true.
When I've done things with bikes before, I don't think about the bike as kind of clearly an alternative to the car. I mean, in India for sure. But I think, and we were talking about cycling, and when you get your first bike, and when maybe you get your second bike or third bike, and it gives you a sort of freedom when you're, I don't know, early teens, that you can go to places and do things that you wouldn't normally be able to do, or I did when I was a kid. So it was more about that idea of the bike being, I don't know, a way of escaping. Well, it would be great if they could be like, you cycle to the supermarket, you just leave it unlocked, and clearly when you come out it's not going to be there again, but I mean, that would be really nice if it did become something that's not about a property. It's about that maybe you take one away, but then you can just leave it and someone else takes it the next time, or you lend it to someone else, or they just move, that they don't, it's not like then becoming, you know, you buy it and you write your name on here, or you change the color of it so it can be yours, or you change the seat. You might do that anyway. But they're actually quite comfortable. So I don't know, we'll just wait and see. That's what, for me, is what's interesting, is this is really kind of the starting point. And then it just, the work will work. And how it works, I'm not sure right now. And what's also nice is that it was like a lot of work getting these pieced together and put up for here. But the actual de-installation is going to be quite easy.
Yeah.
Because there won't be anything left.
Even the Rolls Royce.